with the laws of the state of Nevada. This court.
Okay. Listen, there's so much more to the story you do not know about. Check this out. So I know a lot of us saw Deobra Redden on the news, and it's all over right now after he jumped over and attacked Judge Holthus. And so everyone saw that type of attack that happened today. And to be honest, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was shocked. I don't think I've ever seen something like that before, especially towards a judge. But there's a lot more to this that I think we all need to understand. So check this out. There's a criminal history that stems all the way from 2011 that tells us a little bit more about who Deobra Redden, or what Deobra Redden has done. In 2012, he was convicted of assault. 2013, he was convicted of domestic battery. In 2014 and 2015, he was convicted of battery. In 2016, he was convicted of kicking a police officer. That one was a little different. 2018, again, it was for battery. And then 2021, if I'm not mistaken, it has something also to do with battery or assault. Now think about this for a moment. This is February 2023. Judge Holthus, the same judge that he attacked, actually gave him probation. But the reason why now they were again sentencing was because they thought for him to be safety and flight risk, where he would leave or flee in some way, shape, or form. And so now they were willing to sentence him for the crime that he had committed, which got him to do what we all saw. But that's not the whole story. And I know a lot of you thought to yourself, oh wow, you see, look, he has an extensive list of criminality. This guy is a monster. But what many people do not know is the fact that in 2020, he was also sentenced by the District Court of Las Vegas to go through their mental health institution. Not many people know about this part. And in 2020, he didn't just do it once, he went through this program twice. Why is that so important? There's a lot of individuals who are dealing with mental health and mental illness that have had issues and stemmed this even dating from their childhood and from their youth ages. I want you to think about this for a moment. He is 30 years old. And so for 12 years, he's been going through a lot of the adult issues of criminality. But it begs me to ask the question, what was going on in his life through his childhood and through his youth that got him to become the adult that causes so much crime? Because it's very easy to judge people. It's very easy to put people into a certain box and call them a criminal. And in fact, I went through about 50 different articles, headlines. I read through a lot of these different articles, but I especially looked at some of the headlines and realized I called him Deobra Redden for a reason. It's because not one of these articles, I'm telling you, I went through 50 different articles, not one of them named him in the headline. They called him a criminal, they called him a felon, an animal, they called him a Superman, they called him man, called him defendant, they called him, this is a good one though, called him the airborne defendant. That one took me out. I am not trying to in any way, shape, or form defend the fact that his criminality or what he did was wrong. I always tell people, be responsible for your actions, be responsible for your mind. But there may be some truth that Deobra Redden is dealing with mental illness. And this is something that may have been stemming since he was a youth within his ages. The reason why I'm so big on this advocacy for youth mental health is because a lot of people are going through issues in their lives that are unresolved, and it causes them to be the person who we see in adulthood. Now, this is an extreme example, right? We're talking about 11, 12 years of criminality, but a lot of us have gone through issues in our childhood and our youth that are unresolved, that now we project those same problems to the people who are around us because we never dealt with the problems that we were having within our minds when we were young kids as well. And that's why a lot of therapists, for instance, they go back to when you were a child to try to break or root out the problems that were going on through your head in order for us to understand why you act the way that you act today. A lot of this stems from our childhood, from our youth. And the fact that he was admitted twice to the Las Vegas district court mental health institution tells us that he must have been going through something, and this is very recent in 2020. But I really want to touch on this for a second, because all the headlines call him an animal, call him a felon, call him a problem, call him a defendant. Don't even name him one time. But I want you to go check out Dylan Butler. From the time that I'm shooting this video, this only happened within maybe 24 to 26 hours, that Dylan Butler killed a 6th grader and injured 4 more children. But I want you to read some of the headlines, and I'm gonna tell you some of them myself. Ready? Investigators looking into Perry school shooter Dylan Butler. Iowa school shooters chilling final social media post. What we know about Dylan Butler from Perry, Iowa school shooting. Dylan Butler, Iowa school shooting. Dylan Butler, untold story of Iowa school shooter. Who was Iowa school shooter Dylan Butler? U.S. teen who killed fellow student at school was tired of being bullied. Now, I go to schools all over North America, especially. I talk about this all the time, that bullying can lead to a lot of different issues. But I want us to realize how in 24 hours, one person who jumped and attacked a judge is being demonized, and another who killed one and injured 4 is still not villainized the same way that they called Deobra Redden an animal, a criminal. All these different headlines: a felon, the defendant. We don't see that same level of attack from the media to Dylan Butler. Why? Why not? We've given so much leeway to individuals who have done much more heinous crimes than Deobra Redden and caused it up to mental health issues, mental health illness. Something was going on. Why is that not being extended to Deobra Redden? I'm just asking questions. I'm asking questions. Deobra Redden seems like someone who will slip through the cracks, who for many years should have had the help that he needed to get through the mental illnesses that he may have had in his life, but was not given the treatment, possibly did not have the finances to be able to deal with the problems that he's had. I don't know his story, mind you. I'm not out here trying to say that he definitely does, but looking at the history and looking at the fact that he went through this twice within 2020, it tells me that there was something with mental health dealing with Deobra Redden. And this is why I talk about youth advocacy in this way, and we talk about how it's so impactful for us to really look within what's happening within our youth and mental health. Because if we could deal with some of the problems that are going on in their lives in this period of time, a lot of the problems that we start seeing in the adulthoods can be worked through, can be helped, can be transformed. It takes time, it takes effort, absolutely. But I do believe that if we're willing to work through what is happening within our youth today, while they're still youth, it can still get them to become the successful, the prominent, the contributing adult that we want all the youth to be. Because I asked myself the question, could Deobra Redden have prevented 12 years of criminality if he had the mental health support when he was a child, when he was a young youth? I really think we need to start breaking the links as well from mental health and criminality, because a lot of these individuals, they require the psychiatrists, they require the social workers, they require the mentorship, they require the individuals, the support, the community to help them to become the person that we want them to be. And that's why we advocate for this, because we know that a lot of times if we work through this within this time period of their young ages, this can also reduce the risk of criminality in their adulthood. Again, we've given so many people who've done heinous, terrible crimes a mental health diagnosis. Why not Deobra Redden? But that's why BSL speaks up.